I remember that night so clearly, not because of the wine or the laughter or even the music, but because of what I saw when no one else was looking. It started off as just another dinner party. A few close friends, soft jazz playing in the background, wine glasses clinking, and the kind of laughter that only happens when people feel too comfortable. Everyone seemed relaxed, cheerful even. But something felt off. You know that feeling when your gut tries to tell you something before your mind can catch up? That's what I had the entire evening. Like I was watching a play where the actors kept breaking character when they thought the audience wasn't paying attention. The house belonged to my friend Maya and her husband, Jordan. On the surface, they were the perfect couple, always posting smiling photos, traveling, celebrating milestones. People envied their relationship. But behind that glossy image, something darker was brewing. I didn't go to the party expecting to find anything. Honestly, I was just looking forward to a night of good food and better company. But what I ended up seeing has stayed with me ever since. At first, it was just small things. The way Jordan leaned in too close when he talked to Maya's best friend, Elise. The way she laughed a little too loudly at his jokes, placing her hand on his shoulder just a second longer than necessary. I tried to brush it off. I mean, people flirt sometimes, even harmlessly. But then I noticed Maya's eyes. She saw it too. Her smile never quite reached her eyes that night. As the wine kept flowing, conversations became louder, and people grew looser with their words and actions. That's when I decided to step out onto the balcony for a break. I needed air, space, something to quiet the uneasy buzz in my chest. But as I passed the hallway near the guest bathroom, I caught a glimpse of something that stopped me cold. The door wasn't closed all the way, just enough for me to see inside. And what I saw, I wish I hadn't. There they were, Jordan and Elise, way too close, whispering, touching. It wasn't just friendly, it wasn't innocent. I froze. It felt like everything around me just dropped. The music from the other room suddenly seemed distant, muffled by the ringing in my ears. I didn't know what to do. Should I walk away? Should I say something? Should I tell Maya? My heart pounded, not just from shock, but from the weight of what this meant. You see, people always talk about betrayal like it's this big, dramatic thing. But sometimes it's quiet. It hides behind polite smiles and shared toasts. That night, I saw too much. And from that moment on, everything changed. For me, for Maya, and for the people we thought we knew. But I didn't say anything. Not yet. I just stood there, staring through that crack in the door, holding my breath, waiting to decide whether I was going to keep their secret or expose the truth. I didn't sleep that night. Every time I closed my eyes, all I could see was that half open door and what was happening behind it. My thoughts were racing, trying to make sense of what I saw, trying to convince myself that maybe it wasn't what it looked like. But deep down, I knew exactly what it was. And the worst part? I didn't know who to talk to about it. Telling Maya would destroy her, and keeping it to myself felt like lying every time I looked at her. The next morning, everything was back to normal, at least on the surface. Our group chat was filled with leftover photos from the night before, blurry selfies, plates of food, clinking glasses. Everyone looked so happy. Maya even sent a message thanking everyone for coming, adding how much she and Jordan loved hosting. I stared at her message for a while, wondering how much of it was real and how much she was forcing herself to believe. I hadn't said a word to anyone, not even to Elise, especially not Elise. Over the next few days, I started paying more attention. I noticed things I had probably missed before. The way Elise suddenly became distant whenever Maya was around, how Jordan's phone was always face down at dinner. Little details that most people wouldn't catch unless they were already looking. And now I was looking. I couldn't help it. The whole situation felt like a slow burning fuse, and I was just waiting for the explosion. There was one evening that really got to me. Maya and I went out for coffee. Just the two of us. She seemed tired. Not physically, but like she was carrying something heavy on the inside. I asked her if everything was okay, just casually. She smiled, but it wasn't real. You know when someone smiles only because it's easier than telling the truth? That kind of smile. She said she was fine, that work was stressful, and she hadn't been sleeping well. I nodded, pretending to believe her, but something inside me ached. She had no idea, and I didn't have the courage to tell her. What made it worse was that Elise kept acting like nothing had happened, still sending memes in the group chat, still showing up to dinners, still laughing like she didn't have anything to hide. And Jordan? He was smooth. Too smooth. Like he'd done this before, like he knew how to cover his tracks. But the more I watched them, the more obvious it became. They avoided being near each other when Maya was around, but when they thought no one was paying attention, there were glances, subtle smiles, tiny signals passed between them like a secret language. I felt trapped, stuck in the middle of a secret that wasn't mine to keep, but also not mine to expose, at least not yet. The guilt was eating at me. I started questioning everything. How long had this been going on? Was Maya really that unaware? Or was she just pretending not to see it? And what was I supposed to do with the truth now that I had it? One night, I stayed up late scrolling through old photos of all of us. Vacations, birthdays, simple nights in. We used to be such a tight group. Back then, I thought we all had each other's backs. Now it felt like I was living in a house of mirrors. Every reflection slightly warped. Every smile hiding something I couldn't unsee. But still, I kept quiet, watching, waiting, hoping I wasn't the only one who saw what was happening, and wondering how much longer the truth could stay hidden. A week passed and things only got messier. I started avoiding group hangouts, making excuses not to come over, and dodging texts from Maya. Every time my phone lit up with her name, I felt this mix of guilt and dread. I didn't want to lie to her, but I also didn't want to be the one to break her world apart. She didn't deserve it, not the betrayal, and definitely not the silence that followed. But no matter how much I tried to push it away, what I saw that night kept haunting me. Then something strange happened. Maya called and asked if I could meet her for lunch. Just us again. When I got there, I could tell right away something was off. She didn't waste any time. After the waiter walked away, she leaned in and asked, "Be honest with me, have you noticed anything weird between Jordan and Elise?" My heart dropped. I didn't answer right away. I could feel my hands getting clammy, and I was trying to keep my face neutral, like I didn't know what she was really asking. But she noticed. She's always been good at reading people, especially me. She said, "It's okay. I've felt it too. I just need someone else to say I'm not crazy." I wanted so badly to tell her everything right then and there, but I couldn't. I looked her in the eyes and said, "Maybe it's nothing, Maya. Maybe you're just overthinking it." It was a lie. One I hated myself for, but something in me held back. Maybe fear, maybe not wanting to be the one to light the match. Meanwhile, there was a shift in Elise, too. She started getting defensive, even cold toward me, like she could sense I knew something. One night, she sent me a message out of nowhere. "If you think you know something, you don't." No context, no explanation. Just that. It shook me. It was the first time she didn't try to act innocent. And that's when it hit me. This wasn't just a moment of weakness between two people. It was deeper, more calculated. And whatever it was, Elise knew I was in the way. Things only got more twisted when another friend in our circle, Nina, brought something up casually over drinks. Is it just me, or has Jordan been weird lately? Like, flirty? I could tell she was trying to laugh it off, but there was truth behind her words. Now I was wondering, was Elise the only one? Or had this happened before? The whole situation was spiraling. Secrets layered on secrets. Everyone playing pretend while pieces kept falling out of place. Jordan was still putting on his good husband act. Elise was still smiling at parties, and Maya was still trying to keep it all together. And me? I was stuck somewhere between truth and betrayal, watching a story unfold that I didn't ask to be part of. But I knew this much. The cracks were spreading, and it was only a matter of time before someone finally said the thing no one wanted to say out loud. I didn't think things could get more tense until Maya invited all of us to a weekend cabin trip. "Just like old times," she said. "A getaway with the core group, something to reset and relax." The moment I read the invite, my stomach twisted. The thought of spending a full weekend trapped in the same space with Jordan and Elise, pretending like everything was fine, made my skin crawl. But saying no wasn't an option. Maya needed us there. Maybe she needed to feel like something was still real. When we arrived at the cabin, the air felt heavy. The place was beautiful, tucked deep in the woods, quiet, peaceful, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something was going to go wrong. The first night passed without much drama. There were board games, wine, music, and forced laughter. Everyone played their part. Even I smiled when I didn't feel like it. But under the surface, I was watching everything. Every glance, every movement, every shift in body language. It didn't take long for the cracks to start showing. On the second night, Jordan disappeared for a while. No one really noticed at first, but then Maya asked where he went. Elise said she didn't know, but her tone was too casual. It was like watching a bad cover-up. A few minutes later, Jordan came back from taking a walk. He avoided eye contact with Maya and went straight to pouring another drink. I watched her watching him. She didn't say anything, but I saw her chest rise a little deeper. Her jaw tightened just slightly. She knew, or at least she was starting to. Later that night, the group gathered around the fire pit outside. It was the perfect setup. Stars overhead, soft crackling from the fire, everyone bundled in blankets and pretending to be content. But the tension was thick. No one was saying what they really wanted to say. I felt it building, like a storm behind quiet skies. Then Nina did something unexpected. She asked almost jokingly, "So, anyone keeping secrets this weekend?" She laughed, but her eyes didn't. The group went silent. For a second, it felt like everything froze. Jordan raised his glass like it was just part of the fun. Elise forced a smile. Maya looked down. I stayed still, my pulse pounding in my ears. That night, I couldn't sleep. I paced the hallway upstairs, trying to decide what to do. The truth was too loud now. I wasn't the only one who felt it. And Maya, she wasn't blind anymore. She was watching, collecting pieces, pretending to be calm while quietly unraveling. Then it happened. I heard voices downstairs. Low, urgent, not meant to be heard. I crept down the stairs, barely breathing. It was Jordan and Elise, standing too close near the back door. I couldn't hear everything, but I caught enough. Something about keeping it quiet, something about Maya, starting to ask too many questions. That was it. The moment everything tipped. The lie wasn't a secret anymore. It was a ticking clock. And I wasn't sure who would speak first or what would happen when they finally did. I didn't move. I just stood there in the shadows of the stairwell, heart pounding, trying to make sense of what I'd just heard. Jordan and Elise weren't just trying to hide what they had done, they were planning something. The way they spoke, quiet but intense, made it clear this wasn't some impulsive mistake anymore. It was deliberate, controlled, like they were 2 steps ahead of everyone else. And the scariest part? They weren't just afraid of being caught, they were afraid of what Maya might already know. I backed away slowly and returned to my room, careful not to make a sound. I barely slept. I kept thinking about what Maya had told me during lunch, how she had that quiet suspicion, how she was just waiting for someone to confirm it. I thought I was the only one carrying this secret, but now I realized something deeper. Maybe Maya wasn't waiting for answers. Maybe she already had them. Maybe this whole trip was her way of watching the truth unravel in real time. The next morning, everything seemed too normal again. Coffee brewing, blankets folded. Someone put on soft music, like we were still trying to live in this fantasy. But the air was colder now. Everyone felt it. The tension wasn't just quiet, it was loud in its silence. I caught Maya staring at Jordan when he wasn't looking. Not sad, not angry, just calm. Too calm. That's when I realized this wasn't just a story about infidelity anymore. This was something bigger, a shift in control. Maya wasn't playing the role of the clueless wife anymore. She was watching, waiting. Then, the twist came. Late afternoon, just before dinner, Maya asked Elise to help her grab something from the car. They were gone for a while. Too long. When they came back, Elise looked pale, like the wind had been knocked out of her. She barely spoke the rest of the evening. I tried to catch her eye, but she avoided me completely. That's when I knew Maya had confronted her. But she didn't say anything to the group. No blow up, no accusations, no drama. That's what made it all so much worse. The silence, the control. It was like watching someone load a weapon and wait, knowing exactly when to pull the trigger. Jordan, on the other hand, seemed nervous now. He kept checking his phone, pacing more than usual. He knew something had changed, but he didn't know what. As night fell, a storm rolled in, thunder in the distance, rain tapping the windows. It felt like the universe was setting the stage. We sat in the living room pretending to play cards, but no one cared about the game. Then, out of nowhere, Maya stood up and said, "I have something to show everyone." And just like that, the room went still. All eyes on her. Elise shifted uncomfortably. Jordan stared at the floor. I held my breath because I knew this wasn't going to be a conversation. This was going to be a reveal. And whatever it was, nothing would be the same after. Maya walked across the room slowly, holding her phone in her hand like it weighed 100 pounds. The fire crackled in the background, but no one moved. No one spoke. She stood at the center of the room, calm and composed, and said, "I was going to wait until we got home, but I think this is the right time." Her voice was steady, but there was something cold behind it. Not angry, focused, almost rehearsed. She tapped the screen and turned the phone around. A video started playing. It was grainy at first, security footage maybe. At first we couldn't tell what it was, but then it clicked. The angle showed the hallway of their house, Jordan and Elise. Together, close, too close. Caught mid-conversation, mid-touch, nothing graphic, just undeniable. The kind of moment you couldn't explain away, not even to yourself. Gasps filled the room. Elise's face drained of color. Jordan stood up and muttered something, but Maya cut him off. "Don't lie, I've known for weeks, I just needed proof." Her eyes didn't leave his. "You thought I wasn't paying attention, but I see everything." The silence that followed was almost louder than her words. Elise tried to speak, but Maya shook her head. "Save it. You're not the first, and I doubt you would have been the last." Jordan finally broke. "You went through the cameras? You've been spying on me?" Maya laughed once, sharp and humorless. "Number I installed them after you started acting weird. You gave me every reason to." Then she looked at all of us. "I invited you here to show you who these two really are. I'm done pretending." We all sat there, stunned. The perfect couple, the close friend, the wine, the laughter. It all meant something else now, but then, just when I thought it was over, Maya added one last thing. She turned to me and said, "And you knew, didn't you?" I froze. Everyone looked at me. "You saw it before anyone else and you said nothing." My mouth went dry. I tried to explain, but no words came. That was the final twist. I wasn't just a bystander anymore. I was part of the silence that helped it all happen. And in that moment, the truth didn't just break them apart, it cracked something in all of us. The room stayed quiet for a long time after Maya's final words. No one knew what to say. The truth had finally come out, but instead of the dramatic explosion we all expected, it landed like a quiet earthquake, shaking everything beneath the surface. Jordan sat down slowly, not looking at anyone. Elise had tears in her eyes, but she didn't speak again. And me, I just sat there, feeling like the air had been sucked out of my lungs. Maya didn't cry. She didn't raise her voice. She simply looked around the room one last time and said, "I'm not doing this anymore." Then she walked upstairs, phone in hand, leaving the rest of us in stunned silence. The next morning, Maya was gone. She'd packed her bag quietly and left before sunrise. A note sat on the kitchen table. "Take care of yourselves. I'll be doing the same." That was it. No anger, no drama, just peace. The kind of peace that comes after you've made a hard choice and stuck to it. After she left, the group fell apart. No more dinners, no more group chats. Jordan and Elise tried to save face for a while, but everyone had seen the truth now. The trust was broken. Even small things, like birthday invites or weekend plans, just stopped. It's strange how quickly things fall apart when the truth finally shows up. As for me, I carried guilt for a while. I kept thinking about what Maya said, about how I stayed silent when I should have spoken up. I wasn't the one who betrayed her, but I let it happen in front of me. I've learned since then that silence has power. It can protect or destroy depending on how you use it. Months later, I got a message from Maya, just a short one. She said she was okay, starting over. She'd moved to a new place, started therapy, and was focusing on herself. She said she didn't hate me, just wished I'd trusted her enough to tell her the truth sooner. I told her I was sorry, truly sorry, and I meant it. Infidelity doesn't just affect the people involved, it ripples through friendships, trust, and everything in between. That weekend in the cabin taught me more about human behavior, loyalty, and silence than I ever expected. And while the laughter and wine are just memories now, what I saw and what I learned will never leave me.